Howdy folks, West Kentucky Outdoors here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to tie your own flies. I've got two of these made up here, and I'm just going to be like enhancing a better one. You're going to need, you're going to need to do this, you're going to need feathers. Doesn't matter how many, depends on what you're trying to imitate. I'm trying to imitate little water bugs. So you're also going to need some kind of thread. I've been using this yellow thread up here, which doesn't work very well. It looks terrible. I don't have any doubt that it would catch fish, but I wouldn't use that because it's just a bright color, and most of the feathers around here, they ain't like, they're not dark. You can get blackbird feathers or some dark colored feathers, but we don't really have those around here in Western Kentucky. So I wouldn't use that if you've got light colored feathers. There's not a lot of contrast in it. So I'd use something like this, dark, amazing, and then you're going to need a hook. It would work if you had one smaller than, oh, that nabbit. It'd work best if you had one smaller than this. So less than maybe an inch long. This one's about an inch, I'd say about half of an inch long. I'm not going to tell you what size they are. I don't know what size these were, and I'm not even going to say. Okay, I just don't remember what size these hooks were, but I'd say get some about half of an inch long, and that would work really well because um, they're a lot lighter like that. So look here, what you're gonna want to do, you're gonna take your hook. Okay, you're gonna take your hook. You're gonna take the tip of your thread. Now, if you know anything about sewing, it's like putting the thread through the needle. The eye of the needle, you gotta put it in there. It's gonna be sort of hard to see, but then you're gonna move it all the way down here. You're just gonna start wrapping this around that line. As you can see, I'm doing right here. You can't really see that too well, but I'm wrapping it around the line around the thread that I just put through the eye. I'm wrapping it around the hook and that thread, and you just want to keep wrapping it all the way down. If you know anything about snell tying, it's like that. It's just like that, but you're not using fishing line and you're not having a leader, an extra leader on it. You're just gonna keep wrapping it, and whenever it gets to exactly how you want it, what I would do is whenever I got down towards the end of the fly lure, I would make it a little bit thicker down there towards the end because it looks a lot more natural like that. Because as you can see, most bugs, they have thicker abdomens than they do their heads, so it makes perfect sense to have thicker towards the end of the fly, the bottom end of the fly. So you want to wrap it a couple times down there, more than you do on the top part. And I go over this maybe 20 or 30 times. It doesn't take that long to do this. It's an easy fly making technique. And then you can see it's totally dark. It used to be silverish gold. Now it's totally brown. Then what you want to do, you're not done wrapping it yet. You're going to hold it and take your feather and you put it where you want it to be. So I'm going to put it up towards the top and then fold her down, make her natural, and then you're going to start wrapping it around the feather or the fur or whatever you used. And as you can see here, it makes beautifulness happen. This one didn't turn out exactly how I wanted it to, but it's perfectly fine. And then you want to take that line that you stuck through the eyelet earlier and you want to move it. You want to throw it back through the eyelet. And then pull it tight, and there you go. That's also the same technique that you'd use for snell tying, except you wouldn't add the feathers. You wouldn't have to go over it 20 or 30 times. You just have to go over it once, and it would be perfectly fine with the snell tie. So that's how you tie flies, and I've got, like I said, I've got a couple more of these. Also, another thing you probably need is something to cut it, and if you have to, you might need some pliers to be able to put through the eyelet. What I do is I have this multi-tool right here. It's got a knife on it. I also do have a regular pocket knife. I just don't know where I put that, so this is a lot sharper than that. So you want to take something that you cut this with, and you want to cut this line that's still connected to the thread spool right here. Just like that. And that is a perfect nymph fly right there. Actually, these ones I wouldn't say would sink. Most of these would have to float, but if you have like beads, glass beads, or small metal beads, not even like a weight, not something you'd use as a weight to weight down something, just like beads that sink, that those would help make these things sink a little bit better. But right now these are just like a little dry fly top water, and they work absolutely amazingly. I have not used any of the ones I've made yet, and this, you can see it's a dark thread. I'm using a dark thread in contrast to a white feather because it has a lot of contrast that way, and it looks absolutely amazing in the water. And what the other ones look like with the light thread, I have two of them that use dark feathers from a parrot, but one of them, it looks terrible. It's a light thread with a light feather, no contrast at all. It looks like this. Just absolutely terrible. A fish would not eat that right off the bat. But that does sort of look like a mayfly right there. So if you're going to the right spots, they might eat it. And then here's another one I made. I've got one more down here, also using a parrot feather. And you can see these using a yellow thread. I'll tell you right now, those work. I'd say those would work amazingly. They look absolutely natural, high contrast. So that's how you make flies. If you like this video, click the like button down below. And if you want to see more outdoors like adventures and lure making, subscribe. You'll see more of that. I'll see you in the next video.